Hi and welcome to another Cozy Crafts tutorial. Today I'm your host Selah and I'm going to be showing you how to make baby pants. This is my own pattern, so please enjoy.
Hey guys, it's Selah and today I'm going to be showing you how to make these adorable baby pants. Now, don't get scared. You're not going to make them in this actual color. I just started running out of yarn here, and then I ran out of yarn here, and then yeah, so this is just a sample so you can see. I didn't even tie in the loose ends or anything. So this is going to be our first project because I'm going to make a pair of baby pants for my cousin. So I figured I could kill two birds with one stone by making the tutorial for you guys, and then also at the end I get a pair of baby pants for my cousin, which I have been meaning to make, but I wanted to wait to make the tutorial first. So these are what we're going to be making. Okay, so the size that I'm going to be making are pretty much newborn to 3 months, 3 to 6 months. It really I'm not going to give a specific size and stuff because every baby is different and every baby comes out differently, different hip size, different length, different size legs. So for this one, I did a 12-inch waistband and then a big open, wide part, the main part of the pants for the diaper, because I know the diapers, they're pretty big, so I wanted to give extra room in there. So just in case you're not exactly sure, you can make it deeper or you can make it shorter. I made it pretty deep. So yeah. And I'll show you how deep I went. And then for here, now these look like short legs, but really we have from here all the way down for the legs. But again, like I said, I just made this part wider to fit the diaper, and then the remaining part of the leg is on this shorter part. And then I have for the ankles and stuff, I put this little cuffing. So you don't have to do the cuffing if you don't want it to be shorter. Sorry, if you don't want it to be shorter down here. And so really you can customize this as what you want. So anyway, let's get started. I'm going to put this pair away. Just a second. Okay, so the yarn that I'm going to be using is this one right here. It's Red Heart with Love. And it's a 4 medium worsted weight. You don't have to use this. Oh, and the color is Peacock for this specific brand, which is it's like a nice royal blue. So I don't have any baby blue, but that's okay because this is actually what I want, because it kind of reminds me of denim. So if you want like a denim-ish bluish color, then I would definitely recommend getting this. So you don't have to get this specific brand. I know there's also Red Heart Super Saver, but I prefer Red Heart with Love because it's just so soft, and it really is just my favorite yarn. So this is the yarn that I'm going to be using. So take some of this out. Right, that should be good for right now. So let's get to the main part. I'm going to put all this yarn back here so it's not too distracting. Alright, so the materials you're going to be needing are, of course, a crochet hook. Now you can really use pretty much any size. It just depends how big you want your stitches to be. You can even go down as low as a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook and as big as a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. But I like how big the stitches come out with the 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. Don't pay attention to the 7. You just want a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook, okay? So that's what I'm going to be using for this project. Sorry, my camera's not completely stable. You're also going to be needing a stitch marker. You just need one, I believe. If you feel like you need two, then grab an extra one, and I use bobby pins. Those work perfectly, and they save money because I already have bobby pins, so I didn't have to go out and buy more markers. Then you'll also be needing a tempuress needle to sew in the ends. You're going to have about 3 to 4 tails. I like to keep my tails to a minimum. And then you're also going to be needing scissors. Okay, so this is all the supplies you're going to be needing. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so, oops, sorry, my camera is really unstable because I'm not exactly using the best way to do a tripod, but hopefully the camera won't be moving too much for the duration of the tutorial. Okay, so anyway, what we're going to do first is we're going to make a slip knot, and for some reason, if you don't know how to do a slip knot, I'm just going to show you the easiest way to do a slip knot. You take your index finger, you put the short end, you wrap it around once, and you wrap it around twice, and you want to do it really loose, and you want to hold down these 2 tails but not too tight. Take your hook, you can use your fingers or your hook. So you take your hook and you pull the last string, you pull that, the second string, over the front one, and you pull what is now the first one, just however you can get your hook in there. It's a little tricky if you don't use your hands. And then you bring that all the way over the tip. And then you just pull it down. And you want to leave like a fair amount of tail. So I'm going to actually like just, okay, there we go. So you want to leave a fair amount of tail. So about that is pretty good because you're going to be sewing it in. So what you're going to do first, alright, sorry about that. So what you're going to do first is you're going to chain up 7, okay? So if you don't know how to chain, what you're going to do is you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull this loop through that loop. So that's 1. Then you're going to yarn over. This is just a quick recap, and pull it through there. And yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, and pull it through. Let me get a little closer for you. Okay? So those 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we have 5, 6, and 7. They don't have to be super loose or super tight, so really it doesn't matter. So what we're going to do is you can go into the backs or you can go into the front. I like to go to the backs. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna just turn over your chain and you're just gonna pick up that loop right there. So you see it's like there's 3 loops right here. You're gonna pick up the one right here. And you're gonna go into the second chain from the hook, okay? Let's go into there and you're gonna make a single crochet. Okay, so just to recap on the single crochet, you go into your chain, then you yarn over, you pull through 1, you have 2 loops on your hook, and then you pull through those last 2. Okay, so you're just going to put 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way down. Okay, and since we don't have that many chains, I'm just going to do the rows with you. Or, at least a couple. Okay, so now you're going to chain 1 at the end of your chain. Okay, so you should have 6 stitches. If you don't have 6 stitches, you either chained 2 less or you skipped a chain. So you're going to turn over your chain so you can see we have the V, the little braid looking stitch. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your hook into the back loop. And if you don't know what the back loop is, just a recap. So usually you would go through both of the loops. If you can see, I know I'm using a dark blue, so it might be hard to see. So here, so you have it like this, and you have the V, both loops on your hook, but you're just you're just gonna pick up the first part. So you're gonna go in between, and then you're just gonna pick up one of those loops. Okay, that's called the back loop. And you're going to do a single crochet into there. So I'm going to show you a couple more times so you can see. You're going to go into the back loop instead of both. Do a single crochet, turn it, and I go into the back loop and do a single crochet. So you're going to do these doing a single crochet into the back loops. You're going to do those for, well, as many rows as it takes you to do as many inches as you need. See, I'm going to do 10 inches so we're working on the waist part, in case you didn't know. So I'm going to do 10 inches because I want a small pair of pants. Okay, so I did 2 rows. So I'm going to chain up 1, and then you just turn to the other side, and then you go into the back loops, and you go and you do a single crochet into all of those back loops. It's that simple. So instead of having this video super long and just waiting here doing all of these rows, it's going to be quite a few rows, about 50 to 60 rows I think for 10 inches. I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to do my 10 inches, as many rows as that takes me, and you're going to do as many rows as you need for the length you're doing, and then I'll meet you back here and I'll show you how to continue onto the main part and then onto the legs of the pants, okay? It's a super easy pattern. That's how I designed it. I didn't want it all super fancy and hard, you know, to know stitches. So I will see you in a bit. Okay, so I'm back, and I decided to go to 12 inches instead for a round, so you can see it's going to stretch a little bit too. So this will be the size of the band, and you may think, oh my gosh, that's so small, but if you think about a newborn and a 3-month-old, they have really tiny waists, and like I said, this does stretch a little bit, so I think that this will definitely fit a newborn if you were going by the same size that I'm making. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you, really you could do either side because they're like the exact same on both sides. So we'll just start connecting here. So let me show you what I did. So I didn't chain up. I don't know exactly how many rows I did. I just went to 12 inches, and so I didn't chain. So right here, all I'm going to do is, you see these like 2 loops right here, and then that hole in between them, I'm going to go into that hole, and this is where I'm going to connect the band together, and we're going to be making single crochets. Okay, and so for the rest down, since we already did that one, we're going to go to the next stitch over on the right side, and then go into those 2 loops under there on the left side, and do a single crochet. Then you're going to go into your V on the right side, your stitch, and then under the 2 loops on the left side, and do a single crochet. And same thing. And trying to see. Okay, yep, there. And then I have 1 more. So I'm going to put that into the edge one. That one will be a little tight. Okay, so there. So now The band is connected, so you can see that's how big it'll be. And we have our tail, which you can either sew it in with your yarn needle, or you can crochet it in. I like to crochet it in. So what we're going to do is, next we're going to chain up 3. Okay, so now we're going to yarn over and we're going to do a double crochet into, let me see, because we want groups of 3, so we're going to do this on the side. So if you want to cut off your yarn, you can, but honestly it's not necessary. So this next part is a little bit complicated, but I'm going to do my best to show you where to go. Okay, so you see there's this hole here in between the rows. So there's like this hole, and then right next to it there's that hole, and then there's this hole. We're going to go into all of those all the way around. So, for example, right there, that hole right there, we're going to do 1 double crochet. Not a half double. Regular. Oh, it's a little hard when you have your chain at first. So you're going to go right into there. We're skipping that space because then we would have 4. So if we went into there, we would have a group of 4 at the beginning. So, and I'm having a little bit of trouble doing this. So again, go into that hole right there. I don't know. Okay, there we go. And boom. Okay, so see, double crochet into there, and then into the space right next to it. So that's where we did our double crochet, and there's a space right there. We're gonna go into there, and I'm crocheting in my tail. Okay, and then we have this space. So you could just go into that 1 loop, but I like to go into those 2 loops. So what you do is you kind of pull it up like that. So it's like one by itself, and then you like bring up the loop right there. Can you see that? So, and then I'm going to go under both of those loops. So it's a little like complicated and hard to explain. So if you don't quite get it, then that's okay. Okay, dokies. Okay, so now we're going to go into that space right there. So we're going to go into we're going to do the next group of 3 double crochets. And then into that space right there. If you beginners are having a little bit of a trouble understanding, then I'm really sorry. I honestly don't know what other way to explain how to do this row. And I'm trying to explain and show you how to do it the best that I can. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. And then right there. But you more experienced crocheters should probably understand what I'm saying. And then into there. I designed this pattern to, be done as easily as possible. Okay, so what you do is you just do these groups of 3 into each of those spaces. So you're not doing 3 double crochets in one of the spaces, in case that was confusing. You're doing like multiples of 3 into each of like in between like the rows. Excuse me. So let me show you real quick. So since this is the waistband, so if you don't like having this showing the seam, then you could go like this. Either way, it looks natural because it could either be the bump or it could either be like the flat part. So you can have it either way, and I kind of actually like it with the seam showing because I think it looks more natural that way. But you can do it however you want. Okay, so this is how it's going to be. So the seam is going to be on the side. So it's going to be like that. And then this is our chain 3 on the side. If you don't like the chain 3, then that's fine. I'm not a huge fan of it, but honestly it doesn't make that much of a difference. But anyway, so you see we have like, let me get onto the light. So we have like this group of 3 here, but they're all individual stitches. It looks like an increase because the stitches we went into, they're so close together. But really they're 3 individual stitches, but they're like in groups. So we have it like here, then we have it here, and here, and here. So all you're going to do is all the way around the entire waistband, you're going to be doing these groups of 3s into those spaces in between the rows. Okay, I hope that's understandable. Okay, so I'm just going to be doing this all the way around. Okay, and you can cut off your tail at any moment if you want to. Okay, so I'm just going to be doing this all the way around. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. So I'm just going to do these groups of 3 all the way around the entire waistband, and then I will come back to meet me when you've finished doing your groups of 3. Okay, I'm back, and I finished going all the way around. So I have my groups of 3s all the way around the entire band. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a slip stitch into our first double crochet. So we'll just go ahead and ignore that chain 3, do a slip stitch, and oh, I'm not getting in the shot, am I? Whoops. I'm not always looking at the camera at all times. Sorry about that. So we did a slip stitch. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my stitch marker right here. You know what? I totally forgot to tell you earlier. You're going to need 3 stitch markers. I'm so sorry. So I'll get those in a second. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull up, make a big hole, and then you're going to yarn over, and you're going to do a double crochet into that stitch. Okay, so bringing it up was to get the height of the double crochet instead of having to do a chain. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to do I believe 5, yeah, we're going to do 5 rows of the double crochet, but on the last row, that's when we're going to bring the pants together, like bring them close, like that, if that makes sense. So I did 6 rows, and on the 6th row, I brought the pants together on my example, but that's for a bigger size. That was a waistband of 14, so that was like 3 to 6 months, I believe, or 6 to 9. I'm not exactly sure what the sizes are. And like I said earlier, I don't really want to give a size because every baby is different, so it really just depends on how big your baby's hips are and, you know, all that other stuff. So go ahead and do 4 rounds, including this one, of double crochets just all the way around. And if you haven't, go grab 2 more stitch markers. I'm so sorry. I said 1 in the beginning of the video, but really you're going to need 3. So just thought of that, so sorry. So go ahead and do that and get your 2 stitch markers. And I'm also going to do the same. I'm going to do 4 rows, and I'll meet you at the end of my 4th row, and we'll continue on with the rest of the pattern. Okay, so again, I'm going to leave you, so have fun. Okay, so I finished my 4 rows. I took my hook out, and make sure that so what you're gonna do is you're gonna fold it in half like this. Make sure your seam is on either sides on the edge. Okay, so now I have my stitch marker. I put it here at the beginning of my row, so I know where it is. So what you're gonna do is so just a quick note before I continue. If you did a longer, like a bigger waistband for a bigger size baby, like 14 or 16 inches, then you're going to go longer than just these 4 rows. You're going to go 6 or 7 rows, okay, just so you know. But I'm doing newborn, so I don't need that much space. So what you're going to do is you're going to make sure you have the amount of stitches on this side, and you're going to close up for this side. So I'm going to count, let me see, is there a stitch on this side? No, okay. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I put my stitch marker in the next one. I'm not exactly sure if this is it because I haven't made a newborn pair yet. I've just done 2 different samples. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Put it into the next one. Okay, so we have 8 stitches on either side. So then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to bring them both in by 2. That's way too small. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So put it into the 10th one. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oopsies. Okay. So you can see when it's like that, it would be like this. And so, real quick, I'm going to show you. So these bobby pins are where you're going to like bring it together. And if you don't know what that means, I'm going to show you right now. As soon as I can, oops, I lost my place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10th. Oh, so there should be 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 7. So this would go to this one. Okay. And this one would go to that one. Okay. So that's how it would be. So these are like, let me see a little bit. So like these are the pants. You can see they're so small, aren't they? Because they're for newborn. Okay, so it would be together like that. So like these would be the leg holes, and then this part would be all closed. So I think that's good, right? Let me see. I'm just trying to think. I haven't been around a newborn in a really long time, so I'm trying to like just gauge. I think their legs are a little bit smaller. So actually, I'm gonna go over 1 on just one side. No, I'm gonna go over 1 on this side too. So right here. Okay. So yeah, that's good. So let's see how many spaces that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that's 8 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's a little uneven, but I think that is good. Okay, so I'm just gonna put it in one. Okay, so there. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my hook back in. Okay, so lift this just a tad bit. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to go up to the marker. I'm going to do double crochets all the way to the marker. Okay, so oh, I'm not in the shot. Okay, there we go. And I hope this bobby pin doesn't get in my way. Okay, there we go. Oh, my yarn split. Is that right? Okay. So double crochet to the marker. Just one double crochet in every stitch to the marker. Okay. I keep going down. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I'm to the marker, so I'm going to take that marker out, I'm going to go in, but then this is, this is the part where, so you basically want to keep it flat as possible, so that here you can go across, and it's completely, excuse me, it's completely even, so across there, and across there, and across there, all the way to the other marker. So, sorry I didn't explain. So what you're doing is you're going into the next stitch, and then you're also going across to the other side. So you're bringing them together. That's what you're doing, in case you missed that. So see, you're going through like both sides. See? Okay. It's pretty simple. It's not like really complicated. Okay. And we're at the marker again. We're going to take that marker out and do the same thing into that stitch. And then that's the last stitch for doing that part. Okay, so now you can see like this how it is. Hold on. My marker's out of the way. Okay, so now you can see how it is. So this is the main part, and so yeah, you can kind of see. You can't really see because this part isn't done, but it's together there, so you can see on the inside how deep it is. So I know this is kind of a dark bluish color, so it's hard to see, but hopefully the light helps. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to work on just one of your legs. So you're working on just one leg. So you're going to continue working. So now we're going to be working in a circle, in a spiral, instead of straight across, which actually we were kind of working in a spiral anyway, but we're going to be working in like even more of a spiral. like a smaller spiral. So what I'm doing is I'm just continuing on with the double crochets, and I'm basically forming, well, I am forming one of my legs. This can either be the left or the right leg, really either one. And by the way, if you want to do a drawstring, that's totally optional, just so you know. I think that's what it's called. It's kind of like a belt, but it's like built into the pants. I think that's what a drawstring is called. Not exactly sure, but I think so. Okay. So got a few more stitches to go. Okay. So it gets a little tricky when you get into the corners. Just for this first row, it gets easier. Okay. Okay. Hold on just 1 second. I'm going to get into more of a comfortable position. Okay, there we go. So, we're not going to crochet along here. We're going to be crocheting here. So, what we're going to do is we're going to connect across on this side. So you can see we're connecting across there. Let me show you real quick. So so this is where we connected here. This is the first. This is the first stitch. Sorry, my hand is in the way. Right here. Wait, hold on. Oh yeah, right here. As you can see, it's kind of in the corner. That's one of our stitches from when we brought the two sides together to form the pants. So we're not gonna go into that one. We're gonna go into the one right after it, the one that wasn't part of when we put it together, and we're going to do a double crochet into that, and then we're going to continue on our way going into a spiral. So if you want to, you don't have to. I just feel like it's a lot more clean and organized. You might want to put a stitch marker in that stitch. Okay, so I don't have the example with me. I'll get it in a second. So yeah, so that was our stitch we just did. So then we're going to go into the one next to it, and do a double crochet. So you're going to do a double crochet. You're going to do double crochet rows until it fits all the way down your baby's leg. Like I said, baby's legs are all different sizes, so it just depends on the individual baby. So I'm probably going to make mine 4 or 5 rows because I'm making newborn size pants, but you need to make whatever you need for that. Okay, so I'm just going to continue working on this one leg in a continuous spiral, and I'm going to do my 4 or 5 rows. I'll let you know at the end how many I did if you're doing a newborn size too, so then you can know. And then we'll work onto the cuff of the bottom cuff of the pants for the first leg, and then I'll show you how to move on to the second leg, and you'll just be able to repeat what you did on this side. Okay, again, I'm going to leave you, so have fun and finish your leg, the double crochet part of your leg, and I'll come back and show you how to do the cuff. Alright, bye bye. Okay, I'm back and I finished the legs. Now they do look a little bit short, but keep in mind we have a ton of room right here before we do our actual legs for the baby to put their legs. And this is a newborn size that I'm making. So just keep in mind, they have little legs. So this, if you haven't been around a newborn in a really long time, like I have, this is definitely going to seem really small to you. It even seems too small for me, but trust me, it will fit. And this is actually the size, okay? So I'm going to show you what to do next. So I'm at my marker. If you didn't use a marker, that's fine. Just make sure that your rows are as even as possible. Okay, so let's see if I can bring this up a little. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to do a slip stitch into that stitch where the marker was. Okay, and we're going to chain 1. Okay, so what you're going to do is a single crochet into every single stitch all the way around the entire leg, okay? Which isn't that many stitches, of course, because this is such a small, like, little leg and stuff. But you're gonna do 2 rows of the cuffing, which I call this the cuffing, which is the single crochet rows. So after this row, you're gonna do another row, and I find that it would be extremely boring to stay on camera and do 2 rows of single crochets on camera with you. So if you don't mind, I am going to get off camera and finish both of my rows. And I'm already like halfway through my first row. So I'll be on in just a few. Okay, so go ahead and finish your rows of single crochets for the cuffing. So you're either going to do 3 rows for a bigger size or 4 rows for like a really big size, or maybe just 1 row if you like just 1 row. But I'm going to do 2 rows because that's what I like. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will come back. Okay, so I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so hold on a second, sorry, I went ahead a step. Okay, so I did 2 rows of the single crochet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the first single crochet that we did. Don't slip stitch into the slip stitch. Slip stitch into the first single crochet, okay? Now we're going to chain 1 and leave just a little bit of tail, just like about, I think that much would be good. Okay, and then just pull it through and then tighten it. So yeah, that's plenty. Okay, so now we've gotten, ooh, I almost lost my hook there. Okay. So now we've gotten the first half of our pants. So now we have to work on the other leg, okay? So what we're going to do, we have our stitch marker here. We don't technically need it, but I mean, like, if you really want it, then I suppose that's fine. But, yeah, I don't know, I might start here or something. I don't know, that'd be kind of an awkward place to start. But, yeah, I'm probably going to be on the edge here. So, what you're going to do is you're going to join your yarn. Actually, you know what? I am going to go towards the middle because then it'll match on here and you can't really see the seam too much. So, just before we connect it to the other side that we didn't connect in our row 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, on our row 5 of bringing it together, I'm going to go right here. So usually, like, to go close it, I would go here, but I'm going to go just a stitch over. Okay, and I bring it. I don't need that big of a tail. Okay, you bring it through, and you can just chain 1, I suppose. But really, we're going to be chaining 2. So, and then just keep that tail over to the side there. Okay, and then chain another 1. So, I mean, technically this first one doesn't count like as a real chain. Oh, actually we chained 3. Sorry, my bad. So, do the chain 3. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over and we're going to do a double crochet into the same stitch that we joined our yarn. Okay? Because if we just left it as a chain 3, that wouldn't be no bueno. So now what we're going to do is we're going to join both sides. Okay? So go through the first stitch, and then find the stitch that isn't connected to our connect part. So that would be, see, that's the stitch that's connected, and this is the stitch that's not. So go ahead and connect it in there. And if you want, unless you want to sew it in, crochet in your tail when you, when you do this, okay? There we go. And if you want, you can even like push it in or whatever, like put it through the stitch or something, and just hide it inside, and then cut it off later or whatever. Okay, so now we're going to continue on our way, and all we have to do is our 3 rows, like we did on our other, well, for me, if you're making a newborn size. It'll be all different sizes for whatever size baby pants you're making. So, okay, just a second. Alright, so this counts, I believe, yeah, this will count as our first of 3 rows. So you're just going to go all the way around, and technically you don't need the stitch marker. That was just for the other rows. So if you want to, you can take that out. Okay? Oh, and I'm so sorry, I forgot to tell you, I made a change in one of the parts. Right here where we connected both parts, it's a lot shorter because I realized I didn't need that much space for a baby, a newborn baby, and I realized that the leg, it just came out like the size, like it came out like that size. I was like, oh my god, I know they have small legs, but I don't think they need that much room in the middle. So I actually made it, I believe, yeah, I made it 6 stitches instead of, I think before I had like 9 or something. But just so you know, if you were doing the exact same size as me, I'm so sorry I forgot to tell you about that change. But yeah, so that's the change that we have in case you're making the same size. So you're just going to go all the way around. So I'm going to show you what to do real quick. So, okay. So we're going to be, that's what's sliding, it's my other marker. I'll put that over there. It's so nice to have this big workspace. Okay, so that was a total random statement, but whatever. And I think I'm running out of yarn here. Not the skein, I mean from my table. So I'm gonna actually take this moment to bring out some more yarn, because I will need some more. And in case you're wondering, I do not know how many yards or grams or whatever I use for this particular size, because I'm not real good about doing that, and I'm not really sure how to find out how many grams or yards I use, so it just depends. You don't, I don't know. I mean, I didn't have a completely full skein, or skein, however you say it, or ball of yarn, so you probably don't need that much yarn for, you know, it depends what size you're making. Okay, so I'm at the marker. Go ahead and just take that marker out, and then just continue on your way. The reason I'm doing this first row with you is because this first row is pretty special, and by special I mean there's something pretty important, so especially for beginners or new people that are watching this and that are new to crochet, I just want to show you how to do that real quick. There's this one part when you're connecting them. It is a little complicated, so I didn't want to just leave you, and also if you had questions about if you were to keep the marker or do something with it, so I wanted to show you. So just when you hit your marker, if you had one, then just take it out, just like I did, and you can just put it aside and whatever. Okay, so we are almost, sorry, that was creepy, wasn't it? We are almost to the end here, so actually, we are to the end. How funny is that? So anyway, we have our chain 3, right? So we're going to do exactly what we did last time. We're going to slip stitch in the first double crochet. And by first time, I mean on the other leg. Or actually, it was after our row after the band. It was the first row of the diaper part. So anyway, slip stitch into the first double crochet, and you're gonna lift up just a little, just like a big nice loop, like the size of a double crochet. And then you're gonna do a double crochet into that same stitch, and that's pretty much the height of a double crochet. So you have a big stitch there, okay? So I'm going to leave you now, and I'm going to finish my last 2 rows, and then I'm going to show you, I'm not going to show you how to start the single crochet because I already showed that to you on the other side, so I hope you guys don't mind me not showing you how to do the single crochet on this side. So actually, this is where I leave you completely, so let me just give you some advice before I completely leave you until the end of the baby pants. So when you come full around the leg and back to this first stitch, if you want to put a stitch marker, that's totally fine. In fact, I think I'm going to put a stitch marker because I'll forget where I am. And I want my rows to be as even as possible. I didn't do that with the big diaper row, but that didn't make much of a difference. But with the legs, I have to get them completely perfect as possible. So anyway, so if you want, you can put a stitch marker there. But when you come full circle back to the marker for your second row after the first row and you have this big stitch, don't slip stitch. Do a normal double crochet and then move your marker up to that new beginning stitch and go full circle, okay? So just, if you already knew that, I'm sorry for having to tell you something you already knew, but that was for the new crocheters or people that didn't know that, okay? So I'm going to do my last 2 rows of the leg. You're doing whatever size you're doing. And I'm going to do my 2 rows of the single crochet cuff. And when I come back, I will show you how to sew in the ends. And then we'll be done. So this is pretty quick. I think a pair of pants, depending on how fast or slow you crochet, it would take you about 90 minutes, maybe 120, so 1 to 2 hours. It would take you, depending on what size you're using and depending how, what speed you crochet at, okay? So have fun, and I'll meet you at the end of my leg here to sew in the ends with you, alright? So have fun! Alrighty, guess what? We're at the end now. So I did my 3 rows, 1, 2, and 3. And then I also did my 2 rows of the cuffs, so they're complete look-alike, and aren't they so cute? You'll be able to see what they look like more in a minute. So I slip stitched, and now I'm going to chain 1, get my scissors. I don't need that much yarn, just need this. So I'm going to put my remaining yarn over by my skein, and I'm just going to pull through, put that hook aside, put my 2 stitch markers aside. So I put my 3rd stitch marker away in case you were wondering where that went. So I'm pretty sure I sewed in, just checking, I think I sewed in my, excuse me if you heard that burp, I so apologize. And I was really close too, so I have this little tail. I'm just gonna, boop, just done. So I only have 2 tails to sew in. How awesome is that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold in my cuff here. Okay, so it's a little tricky to do this on camera, but what you're going to do essentially is you're going to thread your needle, and then you can either do the single crochets or the double crochets. I find it easier to sew in through double crochets, so I'm just going to come here, pick up a couple of the double crochets. So make sure you left a long enough tail. So just go through a couple of them because we're going to be working back into them. So just go through like 4 or 5. You don't need to do that many. And then make sure also that it doesn't like decrease the size or anything. And then you're going to skip the closest one and then go through the rest of them. And it won't come undone, trust me, if you do this properly. And then same thing, all the way back. And one more time. I'm sorry if I'm not completely, you know what, actually just leave it. I'm sorry I'm not completely getting this in the camera. It's kind of difficult position. Okay, so clip that off. Make sure it didn't like crimp. I don't know if that's a word. Crimp, stimp. I don't know. I don't know what the word is, but make sure it didn't like make your leg shorter in any way. So what you can test to see if it did that is you can fold it in half and see if they're the same size, and they are, which is good because that would be bad if they weren't the same size. Okay, so we have one more tail. So I'm sorry, I'm kind of rushing. I have some plans that I'm a little late for right now, so I'm trying to hurry and get this done. But I hope I'm not going too fast, especially for the beginners. Sewing in the ends are really just the easiest thing. But I'm sorry to seem rushed a little bit right now. So I don't like frayed ends or fried ends, frayed ends. I really don't know what that is called. Okay, so now what you're going to do is the exact same thing. Just pick a couple of the double crochets, go through them, and I'm just picking up the front of it. Okay, stretch it just a little to make sure it doesn't crimp up on you. I think that's what it is. I don't know. And then go back through them and pull through, and then this one's actually shorter, and then just go through the 3 of them, and you're done. Okay, and snip off the edge, or the end, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so fold it back, stretch it out just a little bit, not too much. You know, this one looks a little shorter for some reason, probably because I didn't. Oh, and we have a tail here. Ay. Cut that off too. Okay, so hold on, let me look presentable here because all my supplies are kind of all scattered and stuff. Okay, so wait, let me just do the test. Yep, they're the same, even though they don't really look like it, but they are the same. Okay, so this is what my pants look like. I did a blue, like I said, because my aunt is having a baby boy this summer, so I'm just crocheting away. So if there's a lot of baby items that I make tutorials for, that is why. I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone, like I said earlier in the video. So I hope that you enjoyed making this. I hope it was really fun. I hope it was easy enough for the new beginners to crochet to follow along with. And yeah, so again, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that yours came out looking similar to mine. And I hope that if you did a different size, you were able to do it differently and it came out perfectly. So anyway, I certainly had fun making this tutorial and making my official first pair of baby pants. Yay. So anyway, please subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to be making a lot more tutorials soon. And if you would like anything in particular, any specific tutorial that you want me to make, just totally put it in the comments below on this video or in my discussion or even on my Instagram at Crocheting Shop, and I will, if I can make that, then I definitely will, and I'll put up a tutorial for it. Okay, my name is Selah, I'm your host, and I will see you next time on my next video. Alright, bye bye.